everybody, this is Johnny, Garden Valley Brewing, here with brewing assistant Chico. And as the snow begins to melt off the golf course, we're going to go do a mobile brew today, pack up our equipment, and go to a fellow home brewer's house and brew up some stout. So we got all our equipment here all piled up and ready to go. Hopefully got everything we're going to need. Ingredients for the beer, propane tank, burner, spring water. Can't use the well water because there's sulfur in it. Ruin the beer. Buckets to sanitize equipment in. A primary fermenter to give to our new home brewing friend, Rich Walls. And of course we got the old brew pot. So we're going to load all this stuff up and we're going to head out to Mr. Walls' casa. And first step is we got to sanitize everything. So you take your sanitizer here, and sure you could, you know, squeeze into that little measuring thing and be accurate, but I don't give a beep. So I'm just gonna pour a little in there, pour a little bit in there, pour a little bit in there, and then fill those puppies up with some water.
You know what we should have done?
Fill all these up, and then we'll move on. Got 5 gallons of water in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to soak our specialty grains. So I'm going to light my burner, get the flame going, and I'm going to soak some specialty grains. I'm making a dry Irish Stout, so I'm going to be soaking about a pound of roasted barley and about a half a pound of black malt in a muslin bag. And I'll soak that until the temperature gets to 170, and then I'll pull those grains out, because if I don't pull them out, then I'll start getting some harsh flavors from the husks. Alright, so the grains, you can see my grains are soaking here and it's darkening my water. And so I'll keep doing this until the magic dial tells me it's 170 degrees, and then I'm going to pull them things out.
I wonder if I should just lift that.
Now we're pulling the grain bag out here, and we're letting that bag drain.
Really big bag.
And now it's drained pretty good, so the appropriate thing to do with that bag is to launch it.
Oh,
off it goes.
Stem.
There we are. Alright, now we're going to stir in our malt extract. Our flame is off because we don't want our malt extract to burn to the bottom of the kettle. So the flame is off, and we're going to stir in all our malt extract now. Alright, all our malt extract is stirred in. I stirred in about 7 pounds of malt extract. So now I'm going to put my flame back on, and we're going to boil this thing. And we won't do anything till we get to the boil. Alright, so we're nearing 200 degrees here.
Well, if you want to keep it, let me know.
Which means
I do want to keep
I'm going to
some,
start.
yeah.
I'm going to get a boil going pretty soon, and this is a critical moment because all that foam you see could rise up and boil out of my pot. So I got to pay close attention, and when that foam starts to build up, I'm going to turn my flame down a little bit and try to keep it under control.
I don't dislike it.
All right, so I'm starting to get a boil here, and this foam is starting to rise. You can see it. So now I'm going to control my flame, turn it down a little bit, and try to keep that stuff from boiling over.
My friend said, "Is this so expensive up there anymore? Because everybody's trying to move there."
It's ridiculous.
I said, "I thought it was the colleges." No.
So you just got to keep your flame down low, and it'll back off. If you don't, you're going to be wearing this. And trust me, you don't want to wear this. It's hot. I'm using Cascade hops today, just because that's what I got. And I'm only going to do a bittering addition for my dry stout here. So I'm dumping these in right now. Fasten your seatbelt.
Good.
And you see that it wants to. But I think we got it under control. I had to turn the heat down, but I think we're in good shape. All right, so bittering hops are in, and so I'm going to boil now for 60 minutes. And I'm not going to film that because that would be a really boring video. So see you in 60 minutes. Okay, so the 60-minute boil's over, and now I'm cooling the beer with using an immersion chiller. So this is hooked up to a hose, and the water's going through the coil in there in the beer and coming out the other side, and it's going to cool the beer down to yeast pitching temperature, somewhere around 80 degrees. Probably take about 20 minutes. Okay, so we cooled our beer down to 80 degrees, and now I've dumped it into my fermenting bucket here. This is an ale pail. I usually use glass, but I'm out of glass because I've brewed too much beer. So now I'm going to add water to this, top it off to 5 gallons. You can see I got about a little under 4 if you count the foam. So I'm going to bring it up to 5, and then we're going to take a reading to determine the original gravity. Okay, I'm using Y Yeast Smack Pack here. American Ale, 1056, really good yeast, nice and clean. So there's a little bubble in here, you've got to feel around for it, and then you pop that bubble in there, shake it up real good, and then sanitize this pouch, because you don't want any infection. You can see the little notch in the corner. Well, once you pop that and you let this sit a few hours, it'll expand, and you'll know it's ready. If it doesn't expand, don't worry about it, throw it in anyway, but wait a few hours, and then tear that little corner off, and then just dump it in your finished beer there. I'm going to dump that in the pail, and then I'm going to put a lid on the pail and put an airlock on it. Okay, so we took a hydrometer measurement here. Here's my hydrometer. I took some of the liquid out of my fermenter. What I did is I added water, brought it up to 5 gallons, drew a sample, took a hydrometer measurement, and there'll be another video on how to determine the ABV of your beer and why we're doing that. And so now I've got the lid on, I've got my airlock that you gotta have, a little water in there, and we're gonna let that ferment for 7 days, maybe longer. As always, our Garden Valley Brewing videos are filmed live at beautiful Terrace Lakes Resort in Garden Valley. This is Johnny for Garden Valley Brewing, the brewing assistant Chico. And remember, until the next video, stretch those livers.